Yeah, can you hear me? Nice. How you guys doing out there? If you're seeing this, I want to thank you guys for joining me. As you can see, yet another late night at the office. But tonight, I will be accompanied, by some friends, of course, and we would take a look at some different things as I get ready to have a more detailed conversation surrounding some random topics. Before we do so, let's take a look at a few things. Let's get a better feel for one another before we get ready for this interview. So let's see what we got. Starting off, we'll get to it in a second. So yeah, that's what I want to do. Let me go here. She's gonna let me do it. This right here. Sure this. Start this thing from the beginning. As I mentioned, we are at another late night at the office. If you know anything about some of the work that I've done, there's some videos, circulating out there surrounding, things that we have been able to get accomplished. Just putting the grind behind things and just, really getting after it. And it all comes back to, just those late nights at the office. And this is one of those situations. A few years ago, I made a video in this very room. It's a room in my grandmother's house where I was able to, kind of get a space where I'm, able to, look at a few things, even, just whether it be, a phone call or even a conversation, it's a space that I was able to, just get going from a room in my grandmother's house. So, and in the video, we talked about a few different things. It was a short video. I think it was maybe like 5 minutes or something like that. And, we at that time, it was a lot of, working from home going on, but the need for the video was a little bit different. It depending on, the kind of work you're doing and the activities behind it, it varies, but, working from home can be a few different things, but, it was basically, just one of those things surrounding, if you have, access to, a home office, or maybe, you work straight out of your home office and you have that thing going where you can, kind of convert, from, doing some things in the home office and then flip and kind of get some things done, around the home. So the next slide we have here, right? We're still on the whole home office vibe, right? So are you a business owner? Maybe you run your business from your home, or maybe you have done it to a point. Excuse me. Are you a business owner? maybe you run your business from the comfort of your home. So a spelling typo there. Many have done it though, and that's what this is establishing. Many have done it, to the point of being successful. And what I wanted to ask behind that is, if you have access to a home office, or you have a home office in your home, what is one of those things that you have in your home office that makes it, that you use, that you use to be productive. So let me say it again. I kind of screwed it up a little bit. If you have a home office, or you work from a home office, what is something that you use, and that has to do with you being productive, and whatever activities it is that you run from your home office. What is something that you use, or that you have, that kind of connects with you being productive, but it is not essential though. So something that's not essential that you use, that um, is kind of catered to you being productive, doing the activities that you run from your home office. With me, I'll take a look at it. It's a few things, right? There's a few things, but as if you can see, I'll flip the camera back so you can see the room, and it's pretty. With me, it's pretty straightforward. It's a few things that I use. They kind of go into, me being productive, but for the most part, it's a pretty straightforward thing with me. I kind of like the space to kind of cater to the work related activities, and you kind of build from there. So that's kind of my thing. It's kind of, and the room is perfect because it's, later on we kind of had some different things going, from decor and things like that, computers and equipment and stuff like that. But for the most part, it was, it was pretty. I had it to where it was just pretty straightforward to the work, and that's the kind of thing that, I had conversations about previously when it comes to, connecting and getting involved with, uh colleagues, and networking and things like that, and job opportunities and things like that. You want to look at a few things when it comes to the productive side of things, and being able to just meet those deadlines, and get those things done. And as we move on to the before we move on to the next slide, uh, before I forget, because there's a side note here. It says, Shaun, don't forget to mention that above topics speak to characteristics and individual of a person. Yeah, so the main thing that made me want to ask this is because when it comes to, just working the space and things like that, certain things just kind of speaks to the person, the individuality and the characteristics of the person, and just, different abilities to, kind of get those things done that put us in the space, to start. So yeah. At the start of 2026, I heard a lot of great accomplishments from different uh, businessmen and women, different businesses out there. Going into like the first couple weeks of 2026, and I just was, I wanted to vocally kind of express my, you know, support to those accomplishments, during that time. So that's kind of where, we kind of look at, celebrating small businesses. And then I have I did what is it? I think it was I think I did a random topic. It's actually the interview that we're getting ready for, but I did one previously, and I think we talked about some things that kind of connected with small businesses, and as we got away from the home office thing, that's one of the things that I kind of like to establish when it comes to certain things that I'm able to accomplish is, um, I'm one of those guys who wants nothing but the best success when it comes to certain things that you want to see happen, whether you're starting a business or whether you have a business, you are considering maybe taking it to the next level. And that's something that I'm very big on. And hold on a second. Oh shit. Are we here? What are we doing? Okay, nice. Nice. Okay. All right, let me go. Okay, give me a second. Let me see. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so that's one of the things that I wanted to just continue to keep at the forefront of everything. You know, if that's a conversation that you're considering, you're not in the wrong place. If you are looking to, maybe take your consider some different options, and if those different options among something or similar to of taking your business to the next level, you're in the right place to have that conversation. And I just want to kind of just reiterate that, because it goes back to a few different conversations that I have had. If this is your first time maybe connecting with me when it comes to these random topic interviews that we're doing. I wanted to talk about, as you are in the right place to have that conversation when it comes to business. I wanted something that stood out to me a couple of days ago. It didn't stand out to me, but it kind of just it looked nice to me. It kind of I spent some time. I looked at it, and when it comes to certain things that you want to have a uh, certain about, you want to be aware of, right? We're still in the conversation of business, right? Whether you're a big business or you're a small business, we're still having that conversation, and you're still having that right conversation. Excuse me. But let's take a look at the slide. I'm going to see what it says. It says SMBs face hidden threats, uninsured key employees. 59% of employees say that inadequate insurance coverage threatens key employee retention. 42% says that gaps in life and disability coverage threaten business continually. So what this is saying is, right, it goes back to the conversation that we had about what do you see for your business? Well, what I don't want to say stage, but what point of consideration are you at, at the specific time? Are you considering starting a business? Are you at the point to where you have established a business and you're considering some different options, and among those different options is taking your business to the next level? This is something that we're not putting it out there to raise any things of doubt or anything like that. When I say doubt, I mean the negative notion that maybe you are should not be considering. You know what I'm saying? So it's not that negative conversation, right? It's the conversation of that you're in the right place, and that we just understand that the specifics are very different, and we like to have a more detailed conversation, because 59% of businesses say this is what the slide is saying. 59% of businesses say that inadequate insurance coverage threaten key employee retention. So if you're starting or if you're established, that is a thing that you want to have a aware of, right? Because at some point you want to hire, and then at some point you maybe want to bring in more, or you maybe want to kind of look at some different things that cater to those employees that have tenure with you. You understand what I'm saying? So 42% says that gaps in the disability coverage threatens business continuity. Um, so that's a stretch. That's a stretch depending on it's a wide range of industries, and that's a stretch depending on your activities and where the activities kind of fall. But that is something that goes into, like, if we'll look at it from like this. Those are things that's considered. Those are things that's considered when you're talking about, hey, listen, maybe there's a job offer that's on the table, and you say, hey, man, it's things there, but maybe that's the difference maker. But let's not get too, again, it's a stretch, so you don't want to get caught on that end of it. But I'm making a statement to where that it's not too far out there, to where you can kind of we can kind of continue a conversation of where they put to business, or the consideration of the 42%, saying that certain things when it comes to life with disability is a threat to the business, and it is, because if, on another side of things, it puts the it puts different conversations out there of moving forward. And again, this is not anything negative. It goes back to that promotion. It goes back to that promotion, and those are things that, you get what I'm saying. And we'll talk a little bit more about it, moving forward. I have a few more slides and a few more pieces of information I want to share with you guys, though. In most recent, March is a big month surrounding the sport of basketball, college basketball. In fact, want to congratulate both the men and women of the NCAA basketball. Let me see. What do we have here? Let me see. Yeah. So congratulations to both the men and women 2026 NCAA basketball champions, the Michigan Wolverines and the UCLA women's basketball team. Great job, guys. Another thing that I heard about, a college player from Sacramento State, Shakur O'Neal. The son of Shaquille O'Neal was crowned the 2026 Slam Dunk Champion on April 3rd, 2026 in Indianapolis. He is the first competitor, Hornet, to win the program. Congratulations on winning the 2026 Slam Dunk Championship. Kind of got me for a second there, the last part. So yeah, again, Mr. Shakur O'Neal, congratulations on being the NCAA Men's Basketball Slam Dunk 2026 champion. Ladies, so for the last past couple of years, we've been doing this sporting event for Women's Health Month. The last couple of years we have postponed them, and then we did some creative things, I think, prior to doing that, where we just kind of reached out and wanted to connect and do some slight online to where it wasn't, too much of a getting to. We also had postponed it just because there was a few things with location wise and things like that. So and but yeah, I want to do something with y'all. I want to show you guys something real quick. Give me 1 second. I want to play something for you guys. Because it's giving real sporty type. So let me go over here, check this out. Yo, this is fire, right? Yeah, check this out real quick. Let me find it. Hey, check this out. Check this out. This is crazy. I don't know. You should be able to hear it though. The volume should be nice. Let me see. Fitness beat mix. Yo, that joint was fire, right? Come on, man. I just had to, you know what I'm saying? It's my first, yeah. You know what I'm saying? I had to put that, you know what I'm saying, with it. I had to play that shit. You know what I'm saying? While we was sitting there talking about the fitness event and everything like that for the ladies. I had to just go ahead and throw that out there. I hope you guys enjoyed that. It was little brief, little some, nobody ever, you know what I'm saying, even heard something or nothing about. So coming real soon, you guys are gonna hear a lot about this young lady. Very, very, very talented, brilliant, super duper. Just I'm talking about everything. Her name is Britt Meyer McNaught. Excuse me. Her name is Britt Meyer McNaughty. She is a columnist, and she is super crazy when it comes to just having a interesting read when it comes to just everything. She has it. I want to show you guys something else. Check. Stay connected with us, and keep an eye out for some super firework that she has just gonna be available real soon. Oh, look at this, an exclusive preview. Yeah, check this out. I want to show you guys something. Let me see. So what I want to show you guys is this. Check this out. I'm gonna play something for you guys. All right. This is crazy. Check this out.
Boom! Knocking on the door. I know you're in there. Darla, Trevor and girlfriend. But why is she beating on a door like a rap battle in the lunchroom? Table of a cafeteria. Perhaps it's because of his suspected cheating with a coworker. It all started during a time when the couple first met. Trevor always insisted they go out. Darla, always annoyed with his approach, decided to go on a date after having to have a healthy relationship. A door closes, and Trevor is headed to work. He closes the car door and starts the engine. As the wheels turn on the car, taking him in the direction of his job, he is reminded to search the parking lot. Park his car and walks into the building. Stores his lunch and is quickly greeted by his friend Eduardo. What if I told you that the schedule has us working together this week? As he pours a cup of coffee. Yup, the good news is a new hire you've been assigned to. The two leave the break room walking in the same direction. The sounds of work start to explode. Throughout the job, hours of the sound off went on. Trevor felt a tap on the shoulder. Nice to meet you, as he couldn't stop staring at how beautiful this woman was. As he looks over at Eduardo Perfecto, was he mentioning the beauty of the new hire, or that help had arrived? Eduardo finishes up and walks over to introduce himself. I'm Eduardo, and this is Trevor assigned to training you. Walking toward the break room, eyes followed. Not everyone knew about the new hire, or that she would be this beautiful woman. No remaining time is left for break, and everyone returns to work. The sound of work starts to explode throughout the job. Work comes to a close. Everyone says their goodbyes and heads to the car. Motor sounds of car engines fill the parking lot. In the sounded distance and with sights of home, Trevor gets home and turns on the TV. Falling asleep on the couch, Trevor found himself asleep. He would leave out on those mornings, finding him on the couch. Cleaning up behind Trevor this morning, realizing that she can't find her car keys. Looking everywhere. When did you last have them? Going over to the couch where Trevor was sleeping, using both hands to move him to search behind the couch. As it is distracted by feeling the misplaced keys, quickly grabbing them and using her knee to push the couch and knee Trevor. Where have you been? Too tired to answer. She walks out and slams the door, unaware of what she just saw. How could not have seen the signs? So that is what he has been doing. Trevor is cheating on me, but with who?
Fire, right? Yeah. But I listen. I want to know who is this guy Trevor cheating on her with, or if he's cheating at all. but it is a pretty lady that has been, hired to do work to work at Trevor's job. So I don't know. Is he cheating? I guess we'll soon find out. You guys stay connected with us again. Britt Meyer McNaughty is a name that you're gonna hear a lot about. It's fire, great, everything when it comes to being that columnist that you wanna hear more from. Again, uh, the story of Trevor and Darla. What happens with is Trevor cheating? Yeah, I want to know too. So, let me see. Guys, it looks like I have to get ready for, I have to get ready for this interview. And, I'm just trying to make sure, give me a second. That is, nothing else that, we have here. And I want to make sure it's nothing else. I want to make sure I ain't bringing any gifts or anything like that or anything else I want to share with you guys. Okay, so we got that right there. And then let me see. Okay. And as we get ready for this interview, the story that you just heard is a preview of the story of Darla and Trevor. And I want to thank you guys, spending this time with me, connecting with me, and just, yeah. And have you excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, as I get ready for this random topic. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me. I'm Agent Shaun Lynch, and right now we'll be taking a look at a random topic interview. Let's get right into it. We do have some interesting topics today that we'll be taking a look at. So give me just 1 second and let me pull up some information here.
Group health plans must provide special enrollment opportunities following certain life events, such as loss of are mandated under HIPAA. Employers must provide notice of these rights and administer enrollment accordingly. Failure to allow enrollment after a HIPAA special enrollment event can create compliance exposure.
Thank you for that info. What the young lady was referring to is that, give me just a second. She is referring to the compliance stature which kind of is kind of it's not a one-sided thing, but it's kind of a liability situation, depending on the circumstances. Okay, so give me just a second. Let's take a look at a few things here. So I'm going to be reading off a subheading from I'll let you know in just a second. So right now I'm waiting for the subheading to load, and I'll be reading off that subheading in regards to the audio that we just heard when it comes to group health insurance and compliance stature and how that is could be a conflict of liability, you know. So let me go back here and see if okay. So this is called compliance to either or individual, and what the young lady was saying in the audio is missing a special enrollment window creates problems you cannot fix later. Those problems tend to grow over time. Stated in the subheading, group health plans must offer special enrollment after key life events such as loss of other coverage or getting a dependent, and these rights are required under HIPAA. Employers also need to provide clear notice on acts of enrollment requests within the allowed time frame so nothing slips through. Where things break down isn't the rule itself, but the process behind it. And when the window is missed or the request is denied, it creates avoidable risk for the business. Again, see the thing that we want to look at as we kind of conversate about the compliance state of the group benefits is that risk, liability, who is liable for certain taking place, moving forward, or whether it's previous. So I don't want to, and group health is and we don't want, so I don't want to kind of have that direct conversation when it comes to group health, but that is a concern that business owners look at. That is a concern that the um the coverage looks at. If I have coverage with a group health plan, when is my grace period to add or consider certain things, and you wanna consider that when it comes to, that's very considerable. That is considered when it comes to making different things available when it comes to your health coverage. But that is more specific of group health, and I'll say this to kind of break away from going directly into the group health setting. What is something that all group health plans have in common? And the answer to that is group health plans have in common with one another is long term. Group health plans are considered to be looked at long term. So it's a thing, and that's why I did not want to go, deep into the group setting when it comes to health coverage, because those things are considered long term. I wouldn't say what is a more short term conversation, because that's not what I'm referring to when it comes to long term. Long term as in long term depending on what long-term conversation that you have, and that's not to confuse you. It's just it can be more specific. It can be long-term as in long-term, or it can be long-term within the distant future. But either way, the group health plans have in common that they are to be a long-term type of thing. And yeah, definitely a conversation we can kind of take a different look at. I'll get some different things that we can kind of take a look around when it comes to the group health thing, so that we're not just going straight diving into it and in that way. But yeah, that's a fact though. It's pretty much a fact when it comes to the situation. But what else does it say? More than a plan, because it also protects trust time and unnecessary costs. Okay, yeah, that's a fact. Okay. So I want to share a few more things with you guys. Take a listen.
CMS is considering automatic enrollment into Medicare Advantage. So this can completely shift how you get coverage at age 65. So again, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services is considering making Medicare Advantage your default enrollment option instead of original Medicare. So right now, you're automatically enrolled in Medicare Part A and Part B. And then, of course, from there, you can choose to enroll in Medicare Supplement, or you can pick a Medicare Advantage plan. Under the new proposal, you would be automatically placed into a private insurance plan. And then you would have to opt out if you didn't want to. But here's the part that most people are not talking about. This would mean more taxpayer dollars flowing directly to private insurance companies instead of staying in the traditional Medicare system. So, of course, supporters are saying Medicare Advantage offers extra benefits and coordinated care, and of course that's true. And for some people, these plans are most appropriate. But here's the thing. If they choose a plan for you, they're not checking to see if your doctor's in the network. They're not checking to see if your medications are covered. You're just going to be stuck in a plan by default. And if you don't make the changes at the appropriate time, now you're going to be stuck in that plan for a whole year without your doctors, or potentially having to get a formulary exception for your medication. Just a big headache, right? So the bottom line is, this isn't just a small tweak to Medicare that they're proposing. This is a fundamental shift in how Medicare works. If it happens, your decision won't be, should I enroll? It'll be, do I stay or do I opt out? So make sure you're making that decision on purpose, not by default. All right?
I apologize to my businessmen and businesswomen out there, because before we were to listen to the next audio, I did want to get away from the conversation, right? Because again, I want to keep at the forefront of what I want to see for your business, and that's at the introduction. So The individual, the young, the the lady was saying that was speaking on group health. She was saying that having the opportunity to have that grace period to kind of consider different things within your coverage. There was a statement that were there was a statement that 42% of businesses struggle with you know of coverage of disability, life, and other specifics when it comes to retaining these employees that you've had, whether it been you know 12 months or 3 years. You get what I'm saying? So I didn't want to get ahead of that, and I didn't want to listen to that audio without looking at, again, my businessmen and women out there, because listen, that's just at the introduction that I want what's best for your business or what you see for it, whether it be most immediate or later down the line. But yeah, that 42% looks at different things, and it's just not that it's I don't want to say this, it's a process. It's a few things that when it comes to retaining, whether it be new employees or long-term employees, that's considered when it comes to looking at your health coverage, and what you're offering. That's not saying that it's different. It's different things out there. That's why we're not going to get into the specifics of it, but these things are considered by both the employer and the employee. That's not saying that what you are currently offering your employees is not adequate. It's just saying that, there are, we know that there are conversations that, could be of interesting, proportions when it comes to, things like, hey, listen, employer, employee, benefits, and things like that. It's definitely something to think about. But yeah, didn't want to let that get away from me. So I do apologize again to my businessmen and women out there. Wanted to kind of bring that to a close without bringing that to the attention of the conversation. The next audio said something that maybe is hearsay. Maybe has had a few ears to a conversation. Something about considering that original Medicare would not be the standard to the Medicare, that it would be a Medicare Advantage that would be, the structure of the plan, and you kind of will go from there. But then it's just like with the demand of healthcare, right? When I say the demand, we all could agree that it grows when it comes to expenses, right? And it's not, let's get away from expenses, right? As being a you consider yourself a hard worker? So, as a hard worker, right? When I say a hard worker, you work diligently, you do, throughout the day, right? Hard work. I'm no stranger to it. Hey, listen, so we're on the same page. You want these things, right? You want the consideration of with these things, right? So, let's look at some of the things that has happened to, to an understanding, right? So again, we can agree. Listen, I got this, I got that. It's kind of right, but we agree that we are hard workers. We're we're no stranger to hard work. We understand it. And these are things that we want, right? In most recent years, right? I think a couple years back, maybe 2 years ago, what has happened, right, is when it comes to your medical, and this is across the board. Medicare has reduced the out-of-pocket threshold. So the out-of-pocket threshold fluctuates depending on your coverage. So it could be a different number. But what has happened in recent times is that when it comes to the medical, the threshold was reduced. So it puts your expenses at a place to where it can I don't want to say capsize, but it can level, and then you could be able to kind of, and that's the thing that's what I wanted to look at. And it's not about, because a lot of people would try to compare Advantage plans to OG Medicare. You get that different. Comparable, you can, kind of put them side by side, but again, this is, an Advantage plan is an Advantage plan, and then original Medicare is original Medicare. But understand this, that you what we have the understanding to, right? I mean, you want to consider your options, but what we have the understanding to is that the out-of-pocket threshold was reduced. That's across the board. It was reduced, excuse me. It was reduced to the to a specific number that will allow individuals to kind of hone the expense and kind of be able to get a, and that is something to consider. That's something to look at when you're talking about, just making sure that your coverage is as it should be when it comes to considering things, friends, family, and things like that. I had a recent conversation, kind of similar, that was kind of directed around the house when it comes to considering things like, medical, family, and things like that. I think, what is it? I think we'll have that conversation at a later date, though. I think it'll be better. So yeah, that's the conversation with that. I don't see the the comparison of the two. The similarity that I do see within is that the out-of-pocket threshold was reduced to a certain number, and it's kind of been set across the board. So I got another audio I think we have to play, so give me just a second.
That 10-year person make that hump over that $1 million revenue, which a lot of people will laugh at $1 million revenue, but the average agency in the United States is under 600,000 with 3 to 4 people. That's the average independent insurance agent in the United States.
that. Number one, they don't spend it on themselves. Stop going to industry associations and events and focus on leadership type conferences and or coaching. Get out of the industry, get into true leadership, attend true leadership, become a better leader. That is the number one reason when people say, Chris, I do cross $10 billion revenue. I invested a tremendous amount of money in me becoming a better leader. And then I hired better people who were leaders, and I invested in those leaders. Leadership is so underestimated.
So, that's a great kind of conversation to kind of to hear from. It's a bit inspiring. Excuse me, it's a bit inspiring when you hear, numbers, put out and like millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it come across your ear, and it could be a lot of things. It could be motivation. It could be, all this, these different things. But the thing on the other side of that is just that, that is that's a bit mature, because now you're talking now you're talking numbers, right? And you're talking numbers. There are show and prove moments, and that's not to make anyone out to be something or not to be something. That's that. Hey, listen, if you saying that you can deliver, then deliver. So, and then when you get into the conversation of, just, the like the etiquette of it is just you put numbers out there. They can easily, when you get into the etiquette of it, the numbers that could be put out in a conversation can be simply hearsay. It can be simply so far away from the truth that it lands you in a bad understanding to what it is that you maybe thought you had an understanding about. And that's a fact, to the point to if we are speaking on ability, deliver. And those are conversations where you don't want numbers to get ahead of certain things, because again, you could become a point of misunderstanding to what it is that you're trying to get understanding about. You don't need, so yeah, it's very. When I heard when it came, it came off as yeah, I liked it, the way that the conversation was going, but it's a mature conversation. I definitely would say that, especially when you're speaking on different topics and things like that, and industries, and But let's see, what else do we have?
Problem in the healthcare system that you were created to solve, right? The fundamental core issue that came up about 10 years ago that caused the CHROs from a couple of the largest companies in the country, they came together and said, look, for every dollar we spend on healthcare, we get 60 cents back. cost is their profit. Insurance companies, our cost is their profit. Consultants, brokers, profit. Like, the big cost that we're complaining about is paying everybody else's paychecks. Knowing that, how do you move forward? Right? Like you said, for every dollar you get a 60-cent return. And as a business owner, you're like, okay, I gotta cut that because that is untenable in the long term. 100%. And everybody's feeling it. Every family is feeling it. Every business owner is feeling it.
And we're still having that same conversation when it comes to, you know, the cost. And it's not the cost, right? It's the cost because it's coming from our pockets to and we have to pay, right? But I don't want to talk about the expenses of things. I'm talking about what you want. You want it's a few things, right? And again, what we don't want to do is we don't want to have a conversation of, I tell you this, I'm a businessman myself. And I'm not here to look at, you know, in pocket profits. You understand? That so when these companies hire these you know, these guys to come in, you know, at the table to come in and make executive decisions and things like that, you're not thinking of in pocket profits, you know. And then at the end of the day, you if certain conversations are, you know, when I say are, they can only, will only, and have that within that space of, you know. So when you're on the wrong side of the numbers, that puts you in a bad situation with understanding, you kind of cutting yourself, you know, away from the conversation that you're trying to have. And then once you add into it, into that conversation, you're adding, you know, in pocket profits. It's just like, hey, I don't know, because now you're to exceed the expectations. You're the guy you're the guy that we're, you know, we're having these conversations with, you know, and in return you're having conversations with us of in pocket profits. Is that's a short-lived conversation. A lot of times companies will immediately change directions just off that notion. When I say that notion, when what they is doing something, and then it's saying something that's doing something. So once they get to the point to where it's one of those situations where we're not going, we're moving forward. That's one of those things. That's one of those things. So, very insightful, you know, inspiring when it comes to, you know, pushing, you know, numbers out there. But again, we want to kind of have an understanding of, you know, just being considerable of not being on the wrong side of those numbers to understanding. And I think there's one more that we have. Just trying to make sure before we listen to the next audio that because I think yeah, okay.
So the broker makes a lot of money, and a lot of the hidden fees are part of doing business. Where on the fully insured, they get commissions, but bonuses they get from the health insurance carriers putting such volume with them. So if you get a large agency who has $1 billion under management, they're making a 5% bonus, maybe 6%. Think about how much money that is, 50, 60 million a year. So the problem is with the whole industry is greed. Gordon Gekko said greed is good. Well, it can be, but it's not good with health insurance, because what's happening is people are paying roughly $2,000 a month for their family health coverage on these fully insured plans, and on self-funded, they're averaging.
I had this thing a few years back. I was just starting in the business. I was maybe a little bit, maybe like a year and a half or something like that. And I was trying to work with, individuals that was maybe my age, a few years younger. And during that time, I came across a few individuals, but, it wasn't anything I was able to kind of get worked out to where it was a kind of a workable situation. And it was just, it was one of them things where you just, man, listen, I'm putting it on the line. I'm putting it on the line. I'm putting myself out there to my expectations, my flaws, faults, and everything. And I said to myself, listen, you don't want to see these individuals, you don't want to see these individuals. Why not see these individuals walk away from a situation knowing that a conversation led to other things, led to the point of seeing something all the way through that was beneficial for both individuals that initially started a conversation? Why wouldn't you want to see that happen? When you close that door, why wouldn't you want to walk away from that door knowing that, hey, listen, that was, whether it was unexpected, whether it was expected, but it is to meet your expectations. And it sounds cool to say, but I'm just saying the need to walk away from a situation, to the point of, because you can walk away, with less than you can walk. It's a lot of things, but I'm just saying, and then, and I said, I told these guys, this was years ago. When you make that decision that, hey, listen, that you want to come aboard and you want to, work with myself and the experience and the insight and the things that also go along with that. It's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. So I want to thank you guys. It is it's 4:00 in the morning. Again, it's one of those late nights at the office where, we, just trying to, get it together and come up with it. As you can see, I said earlier, let me see, can you look around? See, look, I don't really have too much here. This is a sticky note, yeah. Well, it's not a sticky note. This is a reminder of some work that I have to do. But as you can see, it's pretty much straightforward. And I'm getting some things kind of squared away. We kind of moving away from a few different things, so that's why you don't see too much going on in here, because we kind of got everything squared away. And I just wanted to put this video together to where it puts us at another late night, to where it's just the work that we was able to put in, and even moving forward that goes into just everything. So I appreciate you guys, man, for hanging out with me. I appreciate you for taking the time to take a look at this. It's one of the things that it's what I do, so again, thank you. If you want to reach out to me and have a conversation and connect on anything, business related, when it comes to, whether it's business related or individually, you want to talk some numbers and, see where you are exactly, doing some different things. Just reach out to me. If you get the voicemail, you know what to do. So I'm Agent Shaun Lynch. This is a late night at the office with a bit of a random topic, interview type of thing going. So I see you guys real soon. Thanks again for hanging out with me, and yeah.